Hi everyone, it's Yasmin, and this week I am speaking all about the effect of alcohol on women's health. So this month of November, the 16th to the 22nd, is Alcohol Awareness Week. So I wanted to take some time to discuss the impact that alcohol can have on women's health issues. So it may be no surprise that drinking too much alcohol can be harmful to our health. Heavy alcohol consumption can contribute towards developing diseases such as diabetes, obesity, heart disease, liver disease, and also may increase the risks of accidents or injuries when under the influence of alcohol. Although statistics show that women abuse alcohol less than men do, more recent data is suggesting that the culture and advertising around women's drinking has changed so much that now actually women are drinking just about the same as men are. So I'm going to focus on a few areas for today's article, and the first one is mental health. So the focus of Alcohol Awareness Week this year is around mental health, and as women are nearly twice as likely to suffer with a mood disorder such as anxiety or depression than men, I think it's really important that we discuss how alcohol can feed into some of those issues. So alcohol consumption and mood disorders often go hand in hand, and the reason is because they can alcohol can be used as a coping mechanism or as a form of self-medication when going through a hard time, as alcohol can often numb our feelings and also help us kind of temporarily forget about the problems that we may have going on. However, for some, this can become quite a vicious cycle because heavy or regular consumption of alcohol can actually change some of our brain chemistry. One of the ways is that it could decrease levels of serotonin in our brain. Serotonin is known as our happy hormone, and therefore decreased levels have been involved in the disease process of depression. As a result of this serotonin depletion, the cyclical process begins whereby one drinks to relieve the depression, but the drinking itself further attenuates the disease process. So this year, I think we are getting better at speaking more openly about mental health struggles. So please try and seek out help, whether that's from talking to someone like a family member or a friend, or someone completely external, such as someone from the Samaritans. If you feel like you are currently stuck in that cycle of self-perpetuating cycle to do with alcohol and your mental health, because there is a lot of help out there available to you. We'll move on to hormonal health. So women experience many more fluctuations and kind of life stages than men do, starting with obviously the beginning of our menstrual cycles, and then monthly with our periods, pregnancy for some women, and then going through the perimenopause, and then finally being post-menopausal. So I'm going to break down a few of these stages and look at how alcohol can affect them. So premenstrual syndrome, or PMS, is described as a cluster of symptoms that can occur or become worse in the weeks or days leading up to a woman's period. And these can include things such as mood swings, feeling more upset or easily irritable, bloating, stomach pain, breast tenderness, headaches, changes to skin, and changes to appetite and sex drive. Now, studies looked at the effect of alcohol consumption on PMS and have shown that alcohol intake was associated with a moderately heightened risk of PMS of 45%, which rose to 79% for those that were heavy drinkers. There may be several reasons for this, including alcohol consumption being able to alter some levels of female sex hormones. The interference with the production of those brain chemicals such as serotonin, and maybe an overall poor quality of diet due to higher alcohol intakes. High alcohol intakes are usually classified as 1 or 2 alcoholic drinks per day, and high alcohol intakes can in some cases raise estrogen levels slightly, which could exacerbate the PMS symptoms in someone who maybe is already experiencing estrogen dominance coming from other imbalances or areas within their diet and lifestyle as well. And if we move on to pregnancy, so it is recommended that pregnant women completely abstain from alcohol during their whole pregnancy, and this is because there is no safe level of alcohol intake to consume during pregnancy. Drinking alcohol during the first 12 weeks of pregnancy can actually increase risks of miscarriage, stillbirth, or premature birth and low birth weight. So if you have found out that you are pregnant and you have realised that you were drinking whilst you didn't know you were pregnant, then please do not worry, don't panic and don't blame yourself. It is much more beneficial for your body, your mind and your baby to actually shift your focus and focus on what you can do now to nourish your body, such as consuming nutritious food or taking the right or the necessary supplements. If you would like an in-depth and practical guide of how to nourish yourself and your baby throughout your pregnancy, then please head over to the shop on my website, and you will see there is a pregnancy nutrition ebook that I have recently launched. So there will be loads more information in there for you. And then let's move on to the menopause. So the menopause marks 1 year since a woman's last menstrual cycle, and it is a time where the levels of female hormones such as estrogen and progesterone take a steep decline, and that can lead to many of the common symptoms associated with the menopause, such as hot flushes, night sweats, insomnia, mood changes or mood swings, vaginal dryness, skin changes and changes in sex drive. Although the menopause marks 1 year since the cessation of periods, perimenopause, which can occur a few years leading up to the menopause, can also cause these hormonal fluctuations and some of the symptoms experienced as well. Due to a decline in estrogen, women are put at a greater or increased risk of developing osteoporosis and heart problems post-menopause. So many women do notice that alcohol seems to have more of an effect on them post-menopause, and this could in part be due to the fact that our cartilage and our tendons hold less water as one ages, and therefore the alcohol is not as diluted once in your system as it was before. Heavy alcohol consumption post-menopause can also exacerbate symptoms of mood changes and then further increase the risks of depression. Some women also may report a worsening of symptoms such as hot flushes and night sweats following alcohol consumption, but it is very individual and dependent on the woman. I must note that also certain types of alcohol, notably beer and wine, can interact with some prescribed medications, such as those prescribed for your heart health or cholesterol. So please be aware of that and just make sure that you're checking if there are any interactions with any medications that you are on. Your GP or a pharmacist should be able to tell you that. There are some noted health benefits of a low or moderate intake of alcohol post-menopause, such as reducing the risks of heart disease and diabetes. However, again, this is very dose dependent, drink dependent, and will vary from person to person as well. And finally, let's just look at weight management. So although a moderate alcohol intake or consumption can form part of a healthy and balanced diet, in some cases it could be the reason why many women find it hard to shift that little bit of weight that they're trying to lose. So alcohol, such as wine and cocktails, are usually a lot more calorie dense than clear spirits. So a large glass of wine contains over 3 units of alcohol and about 215 calories, whereas a single serve spirit drink, so for example a drink with gin, only contains 1 unit and around 60 calories. So if you are someone who regularly drinks 1 to 2 glasses of wine most nights of an evening or with your dinner, then that is likely to be contributing to your, or it will be contributing to your daily calorie intake, and therefore maybe a big hindrance to you being able to lose weight. To add to that, if you are an avid cocktail drinker, then you might not always be aware of added sugars and added calories that are snuck into some of your cocktails. So they could also be contributing to both higher added sugar intakes and adding excess calories to your diet. So also we must not forget that there are knock-on effects of drinking, or knock-on behaviours or effects attached to drinking the alcohol. So it's not just the alcohol itself. Clients often tell me that their food choices will often be impacted the day after having a drink, or maybe having a few more drinks, and they tend to desire the foods that are more they're more processed and carbohydrate rich, and the same foods are actually also craved or desired more following sleep deprivation, which studies have highlighted. So if drinking does impact your sleep quality or the amount of sleep that you get, then that could also be something to consider too. So just to summarise, considering all of the information that I've presented and gone through, I would recommend you to consider the effects of alcohol consumption on your mental health. And if you think that it is impacting you negatively, then please try and speak to someone about this, because there could be a lot of help available to you. Try and stick to what we call a moderate consumption of alcohol, and avoid consuming more than the government recommendation of alcohol per week. So that is 14 units of alcohol a week for both men and women, but women are often more sensitive to the effects of alcohol than men. So 14 units a week equates to roughly 6 glasses of wine, or 14 single serve spirit drinks made with single shot of spirits. Try and keep an alcohol and symptom diary if you think that alcohol could be contributing or exacerbating some of your hormonal symptoms. Try and spread your alcohol intake out across the week, rather than just condensing it into a 2 or 3 day across the weekend maybe. Try and assign 2 days a week to consume your alcohol in, and then aim for at least 5 alcohol-free days a week. And remember that size does matter. So it isn't always better to upsize and go for the bigger version, even though there might be a cost saving involved. Just try and opt for a smaller glass of wine, or a single serve, or half a pint when you're out drinking. And then finally, try and opt for plainer drinks, such as plainer clear spirits such as gin or vodka, with maybe soda water and lime or some fresh mint, and try and cut down the intakes of added sugars and syrups that are often used in cocktails. So I hope you found that practical and helpful, and I'll see you next time.